Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shein, and today we are finally coming back with my series, You Don't Need Shein, You Just Need a Sewing Machine. It has been a minute since I've done this series, only because I side quested a little bit. I went to a music festival, and so the only sewing projects I was doing were festival outfits, not necessarily Shein or fast fashion inspired. But today I am coming back with this series because I have this piece of fabric that I have been dying to turn into a skirt ever since I bought it, and it is the perfect fall transition coloring. I'm obsessed. Let me just show you. This is the fabric I'm referring to, and it is gorge. It is stunning. She is everything. When I got this, I actually got this from Joann's before they went under, when they were doing a massive warehouse sale. I kind of just went through all the aisles and was is there any fabric I would like to buy now that I could use for later? And I saw this and I was I have to pick it up. That's literally stunning. And when I saw it, I knew I wanted to do something with it, probably around fall, but it is very sheer. And originally when I saw this, I was oh my gosh, this would be such a pretty skirt, but I can't wear this as a skirt as is. It's a little hard to tell too, but there's some embellishing on here that also has holes. So not only is it a sheer fabric, there's also a ton of holes all over it. It cannot be a skirt as is. However, if you know anything about me, then you know I love a good maxi skirt. I basically live in maxi skirts, honestly. I love them so much. And so I want to figure out how to turn this into a maxi skirt. I'll put up some inspiration pictures here for what I am thinking. Obviously these are coming from Shein, but this whole maxi skirt trend is really big right now. People are loving maxi skirts. I too am a big fan of maxi skirts. I've loved them long before the trend, but I'm gonna feed into this trend. All of these skirts lean a little more romantic maxi skirt rather than flowy boho, which is usually what I gravitate towards, is more flowy boho. This is a little more form-fitting, a little more romantic date night vibes. And to be honest, I do not have a lot of this fabric. I literally think I'm going to have just enough to cover me. I brought the rest of what it was and I'm gonna try to make it work. Now I'm sitting here thinking, how am I gonna make this not sheer? I need to put a liner behind it, but I'm I don't like liners, to be honest. If my skirt or dress does not need a liner, I usually don't like one, but this needs a liner. There is literally no choice but to have a liner. So I'm thinking oh, what color could I put under? How am I going to add this liner? But a while ago, I thrifted this light pink bedspread for an upcycle project because I was wearing pink. It's hard to tell, but this is a light pink, not a white. And I thrifted this for a completely separate project, literally back in January. I have quite a bit of fabric here, and I think this would actually make the perfect liner with the pink in the back. I literally think that's perfect. So I think that's my plan. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I love that I'm able to use the rest of this fabric and upcycle with it still. It's honestly super soft too. So it's some sheets are kind of itchy scratchy. This is not. This is very soft. I think it'll be comfortable as well. Without further ado, let's go. So to start things off, I think I'm gonna use a template, and I think I'm gonna use this skirt. I love the way this fits, and it's kind of giving that same romantic vibe to it that I'm kind of looking for. It has a black liner underneath as well as this meshy gauzy material over, which I think is a similar vibe. I really like the waistline too. There is elastic to it. I could do something similar. I think that would be really pretty. This is it on. I love this skirt. I think this can be a perfect template. I'm doing the liner first because if I make a mistake, I care less about this bedsheet than I do about this fabric. We're gonna start here, make sure I can actually do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna stretch to pull it so that way I know how much fabric is at the top here. I'm gonna give myself an inch of seam allowance and just trace along the edge. This might not be big enough, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. This is as close as I can do it without doing any patchwork. But what I'm gonna do is probably just cut it off right here where there's not a second layer. So I'm gonna pin this together just so that way I know which parts I've cut already and which parts I haven't. And that makes it a better shape to kind of patchwork the rest together. Again, not really 100% ideal, but it is just the liner, so it's fine. So now all I'm missing is this spot right here. I am just doing a little bit of overlap so that way when I seam it together, I have space to do that. Okay, here's that skirt to the sewing machine. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, this is a lot of work. Why don't you just buy new fabric? That I say, that was only a couple bucks. I'm able to reuse something that would have otherwise probably gone to a landfill. And I like the challenge, okay? So first things first, we're making this one piece. We're just gonna hope and pray that my measurements are correct and that I traced the template fine. That would suck if I did put in all this work and it didn't even fit. But that's why we're doing the liner first before we even touch the pretty fabric, because I don't have much of that fabric. I need all of it I can get. Also, low-key, my sewing machine is kind of making a weird noise right now, and I'm just gonna ignore it because I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's making that sound. I think I need to go get it serviced. Alas, we have a project to complete, so that I will do that another day. Okay, we have a liner. Hey, I'm just gonna trim off the excess, what I don't need. Go over and like reinforce where I just cut those, like with the zigzag stitch, just so there's no ripping when this is all said and done. This is very non-scientific, but I've just paired them up so that way they're opposites on the bottom. You can see, because that's how the original skirt is. And I know I made longer like waist measurement when I know it's not gonna fully fit. Like this top portion right here will not fit over my hips. So I'm trying to see how much I need to cut off. Like where will it fit around my hips? Okay, I'm just gonna sew one edge together. I can always like cut some of it off, but I've just lined it up as best as I can. And there's like no right or wrong side of the fabric here just because this is just the liner. All of it's kind of messy. I think it's enough fabric. It's just a matter of like where. I need it to be able to fit over my hips comfortably. So now we've got one piece. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, I'm actually gonna sew up the other side too because I really want to make sure this fits before I cut into the other fabric. Moment of truth. Will it fit over my hips? Yay! I do have like a little bit of extra up here just because I'm gonna have to put in elastic, and so I didn't sew all the way up this side. I'm gonna like zigzag stitch along the inside just because this fabric is very, very prone to fraying. I'm just gonna zigzag stitch along all of those seams I just made. And then I think I'm also gonna go ahead and just start hem the bottom of it so that way it's nice and finished and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, the liner is finished. Everything except this top part here is hemmed, zigzag stitched, reinforced. We have a liner, folks. Houston, we have a problem. I do not have enough fabric just to like cut out what I need to cut out. I need to do more math. I need to do another puzzle. I don't have enough fabric to just duplicate this twice. Like there just isn't enough. So here's what I'm thinking. I think it would be pretty to do it like at an angle. So kind of like cut fabric like this, and then I can patchwork it together. I don't want one side to be complete and one side to be patchwork. So I just need to like commit to doing it, which sucks, but I fear I have no other choice. And I also want this top layer to be longer. Oh, this is so not ideal. Put the opposite down. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm stressed out. It's gonna happen. We're gonna make it happen. I think what's gonna have to happen is it's gonna be shorter than I wanted it to be. I think just to like patchwork one side together will be fine. Not ideal, but fine. Oh my god, and you know what? I messed up because I didn't, oh my god, I'm so annoyed at myself right now. This is traumatic. I did it wrong. Are we surprised? The asymmetry got to me. I was supposed to cut it out the other way. Okay, we're just gonna make it work. Annoying as it is, we're just gonna make it work. We'll just Mod Podge it together, I suppose. No other choice. Need a little bit here, which is actually awesome. Okay, one side is good. Flip it over. See, I cut it backwards. Oh my god. I'm trying to figure out now how I can rectify the situation. I mean, that's gonna have to work. Alright, you guys, I think I'm gonna make it work. I knew I wasn't gonna have enough fabric when I bought it. I knew I was gonna struggle with the amount of fabric, but I was like, it's so pretty. I don't want it to go to waste. I want it. I'm gonna try to patch this up. It is patchworked on, and you can tell it's patchworked on, but you know what? It's not bad. Maybe it's actually kind of fun. This is what happens when you're impulsive and you don't do the math ahead of time. You have to patch it together even though you didn't want to do that. Pinning the right sides together. Patchwork is finished. I also like zigzagged the hem so that way it would be a stronger hold. What I thought was going to be a simple skirt is actually going to have a geometric design, which I guess is not that big of a deal. Was not what I was originally going for, but I think it'll be fine. So now I just want to make sure I get the placement right. Yeah, something like that. I have no idea what I'm doing. Something might be happening, I don't know. I'm gonna start with one side and then I'll do the other. They're not symmetrical, so it's not like they're like laying down flat with each other, which is kind of what I am like struggling with right now. Okay, here I go. Skirt is being made. Whether a skirt is gonna fit is a whole nother story. Sewed one side of it together to start making the skirt, and honestly I feel like it's not looking too bad. relative. It's not at all like I thought it would be, but I think like the asymmetry is throwing me off because when I was going to cut the fabric, one, I just needed more fabric. Let's start there. But then having the asymmetry, I'm used to putting like right sides together and then cutting, and I wasn't supposed to do that, which then threw the rest of it off, which is fine. I mean, you guys know me, I hate fabric waste, so the fact that I like will have barely any fabric waste is awesome. But just having to pivot is the challenging thing. You guys, we are getting somewhere. Yeah, there's like extra fabric up here. I don't know what's going on with that. Like honestly, right now I just need to make it a skirt, and then I can always like chop some of it off. That's my plan. But again, I just need to make sure that it can like go up over my hips. I feel like that would be a good length. See how the bottom is like asymmetrical? Like, I want you to be able to notice that. So let's just, should just be called Welcome to Chaotic Sewing. You'll have no idea what's going on. You're watching, you think you might be watching a tutorial. Psych! It's actually just me struggling the entire time, and in the end always figuring it out. Just here to inspire, babe. Okay, I'm gonna sew that together. I have a skirt. I think the best course of action now, like now that I know, like the liner is like pretty solid, so I think I'm going to put it on there somehow, like put the liner inside, and then from there I could estimate like where I need to cut. It's too big, and I am going to be putting elastic in it, so that's fine. But now I don't know exactly where like the waist will actually be. I need to like sew these in. I don't know. I just need to see what the liner is looking like. I don't want to see the liner at the bottom. I don't know, you guys. Like, is too long also. I'm gonna have to chop some of it off. So part of me is just like, I just need to start chopping. So then I'm like, okay, how do I know where I need to chop it then? Somewhere like right there, right? Why is this harder than any other project? Like I don't know why I'm struggling so hard. Honestly, it's just because I also messed up. Okay, I don't know what to do. My brain hurts. I think I've laid it out how I want it, how it will fall. I don't want any of the pink showing, but I don't think it will. Like that's the back. I am gonna have to like majorly hem this, but a part of me like needs to like get it on so I can see where it'll fall before I do anything. So I think I'm just gonna chop it like right here, get out all that excess, and then go from there. I don't know, this is becoming manic. It is chopped. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the waistline. It is a little big because I cut it off. It's long, but it's not all the way down to my feet. I think I'm gonna start by just attaching them together, and then I'll deal with the elastic momentarily. So I'm just gonna sew along this top edge here. It is now all one piece, and I have this elastic here. It's quite thin, but that's how it is on the skirt that I was like using as a template. I don't want like a huge thick waistband. Definitely need to clean up this top here. It's not pretty in the slightest. I'm thinking like if I were to roll it over once, I want the waistband to look like that. I want it to be thin. Okay, I just cut off the elastic that I think I'll need. First, I'm gonna attach this together with a zigzag stitch to make this a circle. For the elastic, I think I'm gonna try a different technique. Watched a tutorial, so hopefully this goes well. I'm gonna try to just zigzag stitch this right onto the skirt. A little bit nervous about it, but is working. Okay, the elastic is in. I wish I would have used a little less elastic, to be honest. It's still a little loose. It's not a heavy skirt by any means, so I think it's fine. Oh, and I just found a hole. We'll fix that. But yeah, I kind of wish I used a little less elastic. The like asymmetry is not working. It's not working with this skirt because I messed up, to be honest. So now that I have it on and I can actually see what it's gonna look like, I am going to cut the bottom of it and hem it so that way it is finished on the bottom. What I was going for is not quite working at the bottom now. Like the back is way longer and it looks like silly. This is now what it looks like on the bottom. It's way better. It does still have like some waviness to the bottom. It's not all one length, but I think it looks a lot better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hem the bottom of it now just so it doesn't fray. I think we'll be done. It is a new day and I made some updates, so let me show you. The elastic was too big, and so I ended up just deciding to make a couple darts. I'll show you on the inside here, but I drew a triangle and I sewed a straight stitch. So now you can see on both sides it kind of goes out at a point, and that's because I created a dart, and then I finished the edge with a zigzag stitch. So it's not that clean, but it's better. Let me put it on so you can see. Now that I've created a dart and the elastic was already in there, it doesn't fit over my hips anymore, but I think it's way better. And honestly, I own skirts that do not fit over my hips as it stands. I already have to do this with some of my wardrobe anyways, but I do have to go through it on the top. Again, not ideal, but it is better. So now when it's on, it actually sits pretty high-waisted. it doesn't go much lower than this, and that's fine. I think it's actually a pretty good length, but you can see now here it like doesn't bunch up anymore. Before it was like bunching up, and I feel like it like looked weird. It just like looked bad. But now it's like it's flat across my waist, and I just feel like it looks like it fits me better, because it does. I did film some after shots with it a little bit more styled, so I'll put those clips in here as well. You can see I still have some like asymmetry going. I still kind of like kept the waviness at the bottom. There's a little bit more fabric on this side than there is on this side, and there's kind of like a swoop happening right here, because when I sewed it and I did the dart, some of the fabric like got caught. But honestly, I feel like that's a happy mistake, because now I feel like it creates like a little bit of a moment right here. So this is what it looks like now, and I think it is so much better, and I actually really like this. I had to like take a step away for a second, because you know when you stare at something for too long, it's like, what am I looking at? This does not look good. Everything is a fail. This project is a disaster. But that is not the case. It actually did turn out in the end. It is fairly cute. Is it my favorite skirt I own? No, but I like it. I think it's really cute. The liner was too long, so I ended up just like pinning it up a little bit and sewing it. It is not pretty, but now when it like lays over, like you can't tell. And I wanted to make sure that this fabric laid over, and instead of like cutting more off and then hemming it again, I just decided to lift it up, because it does not have to be pretty on the inside for it to be cute on the outside. Final thoughts. This project was way more challenging than I thought it was going to be. And I've actually never, this is the second skirt I've ever made. Like the only other one I've made before this was like a tiered maxi skirt, that was like totally different. I get really fearful of making bottoms, because I have a pear-shaped body, and so I need stuff to like fit over my hips and over my butt, but like I have a smaller waist, and so I also need it to be like fairly tight around the waist. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I wanted to learn how to sew, was to create clothing that actually fits my body, not just like stuff that you can buy off the shelf, because a lot of times I have a hard time buying bottoms because of that. And it's a work in progress. Not every project is smooth. Almost none of my projects are smooth, let's be honest. But like this is also the first time I've ever made a skirt like this, and this is the first time that I've ever created a liner. And the reality is I wanted to use fabric that I didn't really have much of, and a lot of that is true with upcycling clothing as well, which again I usually prefer. So it's all in the process. It's like all a learning curve, and I think if I would have just had more fabric to begin with, it would have been an easier project. And also if I wasn't using upcycled materials, it would have been an easier project. I also just should have measured from the beginning to see if I had enough fabric. Like if I would have made this into like a shorter skirt, like a mini skirt, I would have had plenty of fabric, but I don't wear mini skirts. I don't wear shorter skirts like that, so it would have just been like a wasted project, and I don't want to do that either. So I think I did the best with what I could. I did make some mistakes. Next time I think I'm just gonna like take a step, take a breather, and make sure that I'm doing everything properly before I just start cutting, because I think as soon as I mess up that asymmetry, like I did the right sides together to cut, thinking that they would be mirroring each other, and I didn't want that. I didn't want them to mirror each other, and I didn't think about that when I was doing it, and so that was a mistake on my end also. And I think I like this skirt. I don't love this skirt. I think it is pretty. I think honestly I kind of wish I actually had a darker liner now that it's in there. Like I think it's pretty, the light pink works, but I almost wish that it matched more of the darker tones instead now that I see it. So a part of me thinks I might try dyeing the liner brown. There's a couple other things I want to dye, and I've never tried dyeing clothing before, and I'm like, maybe I could just dye the liner brown. That would be the easiest solve. I have fairly light skin, and so I'm a little bit pale, especially my legs. Wearing like a light tone on my legs, like I don't really like the juxtaposition of it. I kind of do wish it was actually a little bit darker, but in the end I do still like the skirt. I think I did the best with what I could, and I think it was obviously a learning curve and a challenge and a puzzle, and I did it, but it was chaotic, it was messy, it was crazy. It was not an easy project whatsoever. But honestly, my whole goal with this whole series and my whole YouTube channel in general is to inspire you to create. You don't have to be good at something to enjoy something. I am not that good at sewing. Like I make it work, but I feel like every single project I learn something new, I try something new, and that's kind of like the goal. I want to like get better with every project. If I just did the same project over and over and over again, I wouldn't be learning. So although it might not turn out exactly the way I would have wanted or envisioned, it still did turn out. I learned a ton. And in the end, it did turn out to be a cute skirt. I just think I might alter it a little bit more in the future to make it more my style, but the base is there. I think with any type of hobby, things can get a little crazy, and I don't know, I just don't want you to beat yourself up if things don't always go your way, because trust me, things do not always go my way. Also, I was just thinking about it, but like if I ever have to like interview for a job and they're like, tell us a time you problem solved, I'm just gonna show them this video. Nothing went my way, and in the end I have a skirt. So you know what? Problem solving queen here. Anyways, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you so much. I love being able to be creative and I love being able to put myself out there, so thank you. So if you're new here and you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. Thank you. And of course, if nothing else, I just hope this video encourages you to stay creative, stay inspired, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh my gosh, here we go. Oh my god, I'm so confused. What is happening? Holy shit.